Welcome to Aplomb Cycles. Today we're going to be talking to Lyndon Schiewe. He is the man behind West Kootenay BMX. That's my local track, and that's where I wiped out the other day. Got a big fat knee. Look at this thing. Regular knee, fat knee. Anyways, I crashed all on my own. Don't be silly. But anyways, Lyndon's a G. He works hard. He's very passionate about his track and what he's doing. So let's see what he has to say. Who are we talking to?
We're at the West Kootenay BMX racetrack, and we're talking to track operator Lyndon Schiewe.
How long have you been operating this track for?
This is our 10th year.
10th year?
Yeah.
And how did you get started with riding BMX and then therefore getting into developing your own track and getting a community together to join you in this fun endeavor?
Well, I think it has to do with the fact that I rode BMX. I was a BMX kid in the 70s and into the 80s, and I raced in the early 80s. I grew up in Edmonton, Alberta. We had a pretty good scene there. You know, I'm part of that age group. That's sort of the first generation of actual organized BMX racers. You know, after that, it led me to a whole life of loving bicycles, and I was a bike courier, and then I moved to the Kootenays and I built trails, did all those things. And then when I was around in my early 40s, I rediscovered BMX. It was like finding my faith again, and it's just been wonderful ever since. And you know, there's a lot of racing in BC. There's nationals, there's provincials, there's local races every week. There's like over 20 tracks in BC. It's a wonderful sport. And you know, when I got back into it, this being involved with the ski hill here, this land being here, is like this. I think I'm going to be able to put a track here. I think we're going to make this happen. And it did, and you know, we started off kind of modest and with not much money, and we just slowly grew it over the years, and now we have this sweet little sanctioned BMX track here, and a great little club that we've had for years, and we're not the largest club, but we get great motos and great races, and it's a real family atmosphere.
So what has this track done for you personally and for the community? Has it made things, what has it been, tons of work? What would you say it's like a labor of love? Was it the times that you're like, this is too much, not enough, or you just want to keep going? What?
Never times where this is too much. Never. This has just been an ever evolving journey. And you know, it's great because the way it's set up, we don't need many people to run a race. The way we're set up as an organization is nice. It's actually just a non-profit proprietorship as opposed to a registered society. So we don't have to have quorum. We don't have to have meetings. You know, that's not, you know, that doesn't necessarily, sometimes I think that stuff, especially at our scale of what we're doing, that can kind of get in the way of the actual BMX. If the day comes where that organically comes together, that's fine. That may happen, but you know, the initial build on this track was done by me, and but over the years I've had so much help, and you know, it doesn't take much money to, you know, run this place. Like it makes money, it pays for itself. We get a little bit of funding to do improvements every year, but we don't take on very much at once because it starts to take the fun out of it. And you know, for the last few years of this place being established as a nice little facility, I'm just here once a week on the race day to fire up the generator and get the tunes pumping, and you know, and for me it's all about riding. Like, I'll be racing and riding BMX until I am either blind or can't walk or both or whichever comes first.
Yeah, I race Lyndon all the time, and it's always a battle every day. Every time we're there, we're all just trying to get that spot, but it's always good fun, and local races are so much fun, and a little less stressful, sort of, but you're always racing your homies, and the track is always minty because Lyndon puts tons of work into it, and it's such a cool thing to have in this area. Like, we've got people coming from where is everyone coming from?
Well, it definitely serves the greater West Kootenays, and that was always the intention. And being in Salmo, being a kind of a hub location of the West Kootenays, we're kind of equidistant to Rosslyn, Castlegar, Nelson Trail, the Valley, like all these places. So that's where all our riders come from. And from the Valley, from Rosslyn, from Nelson. We have a few from Salmo. We never get, there's only 1,000 people in Salmo, so we're only going to get, we go between like a dozen or half a dozen riders at one. Oh, maybe we got about a dozen from Salmo now. So it is very, very well supported by Salmo. But the whole intention with the nature of the BMX sport, you need to draw you need a population. You need to draw from a variety of the population. It's hard to just rely on one population. I mean, there are cities with 1 million people in them who have clubs that aren't much bigger than ours. So it just shows the nature of the sport. You could call it a niche. I don't know what it is, but it's just cool. It doesn't have to be big to be successful and to be fun.
I heard one guy that I interviewed a while ago. He's like, it's a cool sport for cool kids.
Basically, yeah.
And we're trying to be cool anyway.
Yeah,
it's definitely hot today, which thank goodness. It's a nice hot day. The track's firm and fast, and got a little water on it. The generator's going.
It's all you need.
The gate's going. We got the gate. We got kids practicing.
You don't need much.
We've just done our motos.
Yeah.
We're all, a little bit spent.
We're awake. We're awake now.
Now it's time for breakfast.
Yeah.
And anything you'd like to say about BMX, or any upcoming events that you got going on?
Well, I mean, we do have our provincial qualifier race on July 23rd, and every track in the BMX Canada USA BMX sanction holds a state or provincial race. So we have that, and that's basically our one big race a year that we have. Other than that, we race weekly for 20 odd weeks from September to May. And there's a whole, when you have a membership, when you have a license at one of these tracks, you can race at any of the other tracks in that sanction. You can go to any national, any provincial you want. And there's a lot of different levels you can get involved in, or you can just stay in your home area and just come out and weekly race. But I mean, what can I say? That part of my intention with getting BMX going in this area is it's a legitimate organized sport for kids, for all ages. So just like ball and soccer and hockey, it's a legitimate organized sport. It has all the same structure in terms of athleticism and goals that you're working towards, and camaraderie, opportunity to travel. It's a very accessible, financially, even in these times, it's a very accessible thing. You can get a used race bike for $200 to $400. It costs $5 to race here. It's $65 for a year-long license. It's just the greatest sport, and it's quite safe. I mean, some of us older dummies, we get going fast and we can, things happen. But like for your little kid that's just getting into it, there isn't really much to crash into. There's no rocks, there's no trees. Sometimes they go down. It's kind of like, in ball when you're sliding into home or whatever. The track's kept really nice, so what can I say? It's just a great thing. We're just going to keep plugging along here and yeah, just love it.
Sweet. Thank you, Lyndon.
You bet.
Okay, riders, random start. Riders ready, watch the gate.